Hello, I'm at Kaya in Horsham Park, which in this magnificent building, and I'm with Chef Laurence,
Hello.
who's one of the chefs here. And Laurence is going to cook one of your dishes from the menu. And what's that?
So today, Hilary, we're going to cook a baby beet salad with candied beetroot, with a beetroot hummus, a beetroot sort of pickled beetroot gel, some whipped goat's cheese, and some roasted hazelnuts.
That sounds delicious. I mean, they're match made in heaven, aren't
They
they?
are.
Goat's
It's a
cheese
classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
absolutely.
And we'll just show you how to do that now. So the beetroots we're using are from a farm in Thacombe, and they're baby beetroots. We've got a selection here. So we've got the normal purple ones and the candied ones. The candied ones come in various different colours. They can go from bright yellow, they're sort of like jewel-like.
Lovely.
Bright yellow to sort of a multicoloured sort of rainbow effect once they're cooked. And what we do with those is we just snip off the leaves, pop them in a roasting tray, a little bit of seasoning and some water, about 170, about 20 minutes, pushing a knife through. There's no need to peel them or anything like that, until a knife goes through them nice and smooth, and then they're ready. Take them out, let them cool down, peel them. And it's as simple as that. We're also going to serve that with a beetroot hummus. And so we've got a standard hummus made, and some of the cooked baby purple beetroots. And all you do with that is blitz it all together, and you'll get this gorgeous purple, pink sort of matte pink beetroot hummus.
And I mean, some of the baby beetroots are much sweeter, aren't they?
They are much sweeter. They're less earthy.
Yeah.
They cook quicker, and they actually look visually
very
fine.
And they're meant to be terribly good for you.
And they
as
are
well.
good. They're superfoods, aren't they? One of them.
They are.
We're also going to put on a beetroot gel. That beetroot gel is basically a pickled beetroot chutney that we make in-house, but it's very simple. And I've got a bowl of it here before we turn it into a gel. So it's just some of the purple beetroot. You can peel it, and dice it up as we've got in here, and just boil that really gently, blanch it until it's nice and soft. Put some shallots and some sugar and some vinegar, and then you boil that right down into a sort of a thicker
sticky
glaze,
yeah.
And then just let it cool down.
Okay.
To turn it into the gel, you just put that in a Magimix or something like that. Blend it up, and then you've got this gorgeous,
I didn't realise making a gel was so simple.
It's that simple. There are certain things you can use to make it a bit more fine, but you don't need to. We don't do it here. Toasted hazelnuts are exactly what they say on the tin. Hazelnuts, a bit of salt, a bit of oil, in a pan, hot pan. Keep your eye on them, keep them moving. Lots of movement, lots of tossing, lots of fire. It's really good fun.
But don't take your eye off them.
Don't take your eye off them, they'll burn in seconds. And once they're toasted, let them cool down, and I use a rolling pin and just bash them up.
Okay,
there's no need to grind them into
you're frying them whole.
You're frying them whole,
okay.
Yeah, and they'll go super crunchy. You want some colour, and it gives it that nice toastiness. It takes the rawness away, the powderiness away from the nuts. And then the whipped goat's cheese, which we have the goat's cheese here, and this is local goat's cheese. It's a semi-soft goat's cheese called Sister Sarah, and it's gorgeous. It's not too goaty, and it's perfect for whipping. So
it's quite fresh tasting.
Precisely, and we add about 2 tablespoons of honey, runny honey. You don't want the graininess of a sort of honeycomb, and just some basic cream cheese.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do is I'll show you how to do that right now. Got a mixing bowl.
So this cheese comes from High Wheel Dairy, which is not a million miles.
Not a million miles away from here, and and like I said, it's perfect for this. I haven't found a better goat's cheese.
Because I think sometimes when people say they don't like goat's cheese, it's because they haven't tasted a very mild one, and it's such a lovely, clean, fresh taste.
Precisely, and it can. People describe it in all sorts of ways, goat's cheese, but one of the worst ones is goaty. Yeah, of course, because there's all sorts of connotations to that. And just some whipped cream. And what this does is, again, it takes the goatiness down a notch. So you just add it all together with a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of Fleur De Sel, not a lot. And it's quite tough to start with. You want it to be room temperature, and you literally just are mashing it. You're not whisking it necessarily, you're just turning the bowl and turning the whisk. And as you go, it will get softer and softer and softer. If you've got a KitchenAid or some sort of machine with a whisk, pop it in there and just turn it on.
So you do it like a food processor?
A food processor will do it. You don't want a blade, you want the whisk attachment. The blade will cut it too much and it might go a bit grainy. Once you've cooked your beetroots, we'll go back to the beetroot. We've got some here. So these are the candied baby beets. all cooked, skins on. They're not washed or anything. You don't need to do any of that because we're going to peel them and chop them. And you can, it's sort of the big reveal of a beetroot is the gorgeous side of it. So we just take one now, and you can see they're just soft, not overcooked, but just soft. And all you have to do is peel away, and you reveal that gorgeous sweet colour.
It's a real benefit of a golden beetroot is you don't get pink fingers.
And you don't get pink fingers. But you can see there the candied ones and the yellow ones, different colours. And you'll see when you cut into those as well, it's much nicer and different.
Delicious.
And you can eat these raw.
Oh,
You can peel them and chop them thin and mandolin them and just pickle them really gently, or just grate them over the top of something. And that, that's a gorgeous way to eat them as well. And all we do with these now is just nip the root off at the end, just one smite. You want to leave a little bit of it on because it makes it look nice. And the little sort of protrusion at the end, leave that on because it gives a nice little sort of bit of height. And we're just going to quarter them, very simply.
Oh, look at that
And
colour.
then you get this bright yellow, and then the candied ones you'll see are sort of, we might just leave those halved, and then you get this gorgeous sort of, it's this opaque, shiny, like I said, jewel-like. It just looks healthy, and actually it feels healthy. Everything about it feels, it smells, it looks, and of course it is healthy. And I think now it's time to plate it up. And you can see how that's done, so I'll just move these to one side. Right, the first thing we put on the plate is the beetroot hummus. Now I've shown you what it looks like before it's made, and this is what it looks like afterwards. So it's got this lovely gloss, it's beautifully pink, it's got a matte pink, and it goes, you'll see with the colours of everything else, it works perfectly. So you want to take a sort of nice big tablespoon, pop it right in the centre, bit of a line, there's no quenelles. The good chef once said to me, when you're putting ingredients on a plate, let the ingredients find their place. So don't be too
prescriptive,
don't try to sort of balance things. If it falls in a way, that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay,
so
I like that.
That's how you should do it.
And that's how you should cook at home. Nobody fiddles about with food and tweezers at home.
None of that. Just put it on with your hands and let it find its place. Then we'll go on with the beetroots. I like the cut side has got the beautiful shine. So we always have that face up.
Okay.
That's how we do it, on an angle. So you place a few of these in a nice circle around the edge. You'll find the way you'll find the best way for you. I think one more of those large ones just on the side there. And it already looks appetizing.
It does, it really does.
I'll just move those. So you don't need a lot. It's a nice little starter. Obviously you can build this up. You could do a whole buffet of it.
Yeah,
if you wanted.
But presumably it would be a lovely light lunch as well.
And then the next thing we go on was the whipped goat's cheese. Now, we made this earlier by hand, but eventually it turns into this beautiful sort of light whip. It's almost like whipped chantilly cream, a savoury one. And you put it in a piping bag, and all you do is have to pipe these gorgeous little blobs, again, wherever it feels right. And again, it's so light that you don't need a huge amount of it. You're building up the colours and you're building up the textures and the flavours. The next thing we have is the beetroot gel. We showed you the beetroot chutney earlier. This is just being whizzed up.
Okay.
And we've put it in a squeezy bottle.
Yep.
Again, you can just put it on with a spoon. And again, we go around and it's just little dots. I like to go next to you.
Yes, you get the lovely contrast by putting it
You get those contrasts, the colours. And you don't need a lot of this. This is a condiment. So it's a sweet and sour vinegariness that complements the goat's cheese. And then the last 2 or 3 ingredients is a little bit of Fleur De Sel. I always put this on now before I put the hazelnuts on because you want to get some on the beetroot. Okay. So not a lot, just season it up. Seasoning is obviously will bring out the flavour and the sweetness in all of the ingredients we've got in there. So Fleur De Sel is basically a crystal sea salt. So we've all heard of Malden, that's the one most people know. But a good crystal sea salt is less harsh, and less chemical, and it's got the crunch too, so that helps. Next thing we do is go on with the toasted hazelnuts.
So that's giving you some lovely texture.
And that is very much, again, finding its place. Just throw it on, and it'll spill where it wants to. And
so about a teaspoon or?
About a tablespoon. Yeah, you want that crunch, and you want a bit of the powder as well, and get it all around the edge of the bowl, so you're filling the bowl. And then the last thing we have is some beetroot powder. You can buy this online. You can make it if you dehydrate all the peel off your purple beetroots,
Okay.
If you pop that in an oven, really low oven, it'll go super dry. You can blitz it
Don't
into a
forget
beetroot
it.
powder. Don't forget it. But it's super low. I mean, the lowest
Yeah.
setting it does. And you can blitz it up into this beautiful, bright
Wow.
purple powder. And this is the finishing touch. And you literally just sprinkle it around the bowl, and it should fall like a sort of cascade down the side of the bowl, and it gives you that sort of tears, a little bit over the top.
Oh, that is so pretty.
And if you want to get a little even more, you can go
Okay.
with the micro herbs, and we've just got some purple vein sorrel. You can just drop these in wherever you want. Again, it's those colours, the green and the purple. Don't be afraid of adding the same colours to a dish. Quite often it complements them. And just lay them across. And
That looks absolutely delightful.
that's the dish.
Laurence, thank you so much. And we're going over to Luke at the Horsham Cellar now to select a perfect drink to serve with this beautiful and pretty dish.
Kaya Cafe's candied beetroot, roasted hazelnut, whipped goat's curd, beetroot chutney and hummus dish will pair sensationally with the brand newly released Coolhurst Rosé Demi-Sec. Now the Coolhurst estate is a small boutique 6-hectare vineyard based a mile just outside of Horsham, down the A281 past Hilliers Garden Centre. On the left hand side you've got 6 hectares of predominantly Pinot Noir. Planted onto ironstone, which gives it a slightly different soil type to a lot of the southern English vineyards. The first wine they released was a rosé sparkling from 100% Pinot Noir, a beautiful, dry, elegant style, and this is a demi-sec. Now it's the lowest possible amount of residual sugar to be able to call it a demi-sec, so it does have a touch of sweetness and it's ever so slightly off-dry, but it's balanced with this incredible red curranty, red fruited acidity from the Pinot Noir. It's vintage dated, 2016, and the slight off-dryness will carry the candied element of the beetroot and the chutney element absolutely sensationally. And it's got this sort of core of rhubarb, red currant, strawberry and other red fruits that are driven by the Pinot Noir, which will match the earthiness of the beetroot sensationally, and that sort of the fine, elegant mousse will pair with the hummus, and altogether it's actually making me very hungry thinking about it. But altogether it will be a fabulous match, and delighted to be able to recommend this brand new release, the second only wine from Coolhurst Estate. It's available here at the Horsham Cellar. It's $43.99 a bottle for the demi-sec, as is the dry rosé style. If you haven't tried it before, I could thoroughly recommend either of them, to be honest. Genuinely better than a lot of the famous Champagne House rosés which you'll find, and it's grown right here in Horsham. Enjoy.